My ex-best friend reached out after 10 years wanting to make amends, but when we met at the mall food court she revealed she only contacted me because our old teacher needed my info for a reunion, and now I'm wondering why I thought toxic people change. Posted by u/c_needleworker161. The other night I got an Instagram message, confused, I thought it might have been a mistake. Turns out it was my ex-best friend from high school. Someone I hadn't seen or spoken to in years. She was hoping to meet up and talk about catching up. Hannah. We went to kindergarten together and were friends on and off throughout our school years. Our moms were friends, which made it easier. I thought she was my person. At least until the summer before senior year, and my mom got sick. She got real sick and passed away from it pretty quickly. Entering senior year, I was in a very dark place. Hannah was my rock, her and my other friends at the time. I was starting to feel better about myself, and when prom rolled around, I asked if we could go as friends. It felt right, and things were really starting to feel okay again. Until she ditched me at prom. I guess her and a couple of our other friends had agreed to a slumber party without me. I felt so embarrassed. No goodbye. No sorry we left you at the prom by yourself. It was even worse when I had to call my older sister to give me a ride home. I mean, I can still see her disappointment. Even worse, the principal walked me to the car because I had asked him to check if my friends had left prom. When I asked Hannah for an explanation at school, all she could say was she was tired. You've become toxic with your sadness. Every day you cry and whine about missing her. I loved your mom too, but you make it so hard to be around you. Honestly, I couldn't breathe after that. How does a kid respond to that? I ended high school with no friends, and it wasn't made easier that she never told her mom. Graduation day, Hannah's mom gave me flowers and thanked me for being her daughter's friend. I told her the truth about prom and walked away before I began to cry. I left those things behind me, and now she has the audacity almost 10 years later to try to patch things up. I can't. At least I don't think I can. We spent so much of my childhood being together that I just don't know. She looks like she's done well for herself. So maybe she's changed, but I was really hurt, and I don't think I recovered from it. This turned into a really long vent post, sorry. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, she abandoned you when you needed her most and said cruel stuff that stuck with you for years. You don't owe her closure or a reunion. If reconnecting hurts more than it helps, you have every right to keep that door closed. Ops response, I think the only reason I would ever want to talk to her again is to see if her mom is okay. Hannah's mom had a stroke roughly a year ago and hasn't gotten much better, or so I'd heard. Commenter 2, doesn't sound like the message was an apology. Unless the message was a complete apology showing self-reflection and with no obligation on you to give her closure, don't open the door to your heart. She'll hurt you again. Ops response, it was a short hello. A gift from friends of Joey saying how you doin' and would I be up to meet up for lunch to talk? You can see now why this surprised me out of nowhere. Ops response, as far as I know, our original friend group broke up after high school because they all felt conflicted regarding everything that happened our senior year. I had some friends that agreed that my grief was valid. However, majority of them agreed with her. Update, 6 days later. I made a post about a week ago regarding an old best friend, Hannah, trying to make contact with me. We were close growing up in school together, but after losing my mom at 17, we had issues. I was apparently too much to deal with because my grief was toxic, and I would cry too much for anything. The post was removed, but I was hoping to still give an update since people had given feedback on how to approach the situation. Hannah messaged me Friday again, asking if we can meet up at the local mall food court on Saturday since we used to hang out there all the time. I thought, I had to go to the mall on the weekend anyways to pick up an order, I might as well hear her out. Of all the hypothetical scenarios that my anxiety and stress had popped into my head, I didn't expect her to actually be there. Worst of all with Christy. Another one of my friends from school that was cold to me after my mom's passing. I hesitated to even approach the table once I saw them together. They were older, which makes sense. It's been years since high school, and we were all adults. I gave myself a hypothetical 30 minutes. Only 30 minutes, and I never have to see their faces again. I approached the table. We sat down and talked. Hannah talked, and she talked a lot. Apparently, our old high school teacher, who ran the club that we were all in together, wanted to do a reunion with us. She apparently couldn't get in contact with all of us and was curious if Hannah wouldn't mind getting my info. Christy mentioned that I was the only one that she couldn't get in contact with. That's it. I anticipated some kind of catharsis to come, but all I felt was rage. What else is there? I broke. I mentioned what happened after my mom. I mentioned how lonely I felt after being ignored and called annoying for grieving. I mentioned how it took me so long to trust again after the people I considered friends just left me. That I would come home to an empty house after school instead of my mom cooking dinner or talking to me. Both Hannah and Christy were quiet while I stood there at the point of tears. I can't even remember standing up. I felt childish crying, but seriously? You send me a message wanting to meet up to talk to make amends. Just to tell me that you're only doing this because a random teacher who we sat in a classroom with for 30 minutes every Friday told you. I composed myself. I wasn't about to have a mental breakdown in the middle of a darn food court. I needed you then, and I don't need this now. Hannah shut down. I could tell my words had done something to her. Christy just got mad. She reprimanded Hannah and said that there was no point in finding me, and this proved it. Christy chalked up everything that happened in school to kids being kids. That it was past. Okay. Grabbing my things, I lightly excused myself and left. I cried once I made it back to my car. They have changed, but it's clear that they haven't changed how they felt about how they treated me. Never once did they say sorry. They clearly expected me to just get over it. Again, sorry for the long post, but I hope putting this out there will give me the clarity I needed. Thank you for listening. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, you should reach out to the teacher and tell them what happened back then and now. Then let them know that's why you won't attend. Ops response, the club teacher, Ms. Diaz, was actually aware of the situation at the time. I had been telling her and actually had been attending club only for club events, never club activities. She accommodated for me. She was actually really understanding of how I felt at the time, and I would like to get back to her to express my appreciation for her.